We started looking at Vocollect because it was going to solve our picking process.
We've been able to reduce our overtime by easily 30% or more.
There have been a number of projects that we've worked on. I can't remember one that went as quickly and as smoothly as this one.
Definitely prefer never to go back to paper. This is so much easier.
We knew that we were making approximately 500 pick mistakes a week. Since Vocollect, we're down to 3 a week.
Perry's Ice Cream is a fourth-generation family business located in Western New York. My great-grandfather, H. Morton Perry, started the business in 1918, and here, 96 years later, the fourth generation is running the day-to-day. We employ over 310 employees full-time. We distribute all of New York State, Western PA, a little bit into Eastern Ohio and New England, and we produce over 10 million gallons a year here at One Ice Cream Plaza.
Before Vocollect, we were picking based on paper. What was happening is that our pickers would be reading that and they would skip over the description. So we were making a lot of mistakes in our picking operation based on human nature. We would simply read the order, look at the bin location, jump over the description, and pick the quantity. So a very frequent mispick that we were experiencing was the right quantity of the wrong product.
The challenge in the warehouse was accurate picking, accurate and timely picking. So we were having a lot of problems with our drivers, complaining about our deliveries not being accurate, having to go back out, and sometimes leaving late.
Another big problem that we were having was turnover. What was happening is that we were finding that they were taking a very long time to come up to our standards, and then they were turning over before we were even reaching the standards that were set.
From my perspective, the problem wasn't the data, it was the process. So we started looking at Vocollect because it was going to solve our picking process. We had a lot of concerns, whether we could get it done in a timely manner, whether it would interfere with all of our other objectives. And we were quickly sold on the fact that this isn't a large IT project. It's a warehouse project that IT helps support.
Voice allowed us to do several things. One, it allowed us to be hands-free, which was something that was very high on the list of solutions that I was looking for. The immediate feedback when we implemented voice from the team was how much time they had free that they weren't reading and looking down at their clipboard. The ability to have a cross-check function. We wanted to have something that would direct us to where we needed to go, what we needed to pick, and some form of cross-check. And voice had a very simple but effective solution for that.
The favorite thing about Vocollect is accuracy. It gives you the location, it asks for a check digit, it confirms you have the right item, you're in the right place. As long as you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and tell it how many you're putting on, in this case a dolly, it eliminates most of the areas where errors can occur.
I feel like my accuracy and my productivity has greatly increased.
Once you get past the initial learning curve, which I think is pretty short, it's fairly simple to get used to the system. It's easy to learn. I think it's made a big difference. It really has.
The employees are so much more content knowing that nothing's going to stop them except for themselves. They have that power to get the job done, feel good about it, knowing that no one's going to come back to them and say, hey, you missed something, there was a mistake made, and they feel good about they did a good job when they leave at the end of the night. One of the things we found out with the use of the voice system is we initially set up our freezer and our pick location based on actual just volume itself. And what we found that we are able to collect the data on how many times a picker goes to a certain location. And we're now looking at rearranging or resetting our freezer because we want those pick locations that they go to the most in the front of the warehouse, not in the very back. The ability to have the visual of what's going on at any given time does a lot of things for management. For myself, I look at it as not necessarily from a performance level from the employee, but finding bottlenecks in our processes and where we can actually make improvements so that those individuals actually are bettering themselves without them really even knowing it. And that's going to help us increase our UPHs and our productivity, and that's what it's all about.
Since Vocollect, we're now able to track with much more accuracy the mistakes that we're making, and we're down to 3 a week.
We're using a 25-year-old Linux-based MRP application. It's not an ERP. It's not state-of-the-art. There's a lot of concerns whenever we undergo or look at projects like this. Is it going to work with our system? How easy is that going to be? And we were able to implement easily. It's really just importing and exporting a few data files and letting the Vocollect tool run.
I was nervous to make the switch from paper to voice. Now that we have made that switch and I see the results, and you cannot argue with results. I mean, we've gone from 90 days down to 5 days on a training period. We have increased our productivity by 30%. We have increased our accuracy performance with just astronomically. So for a picking warehouse, a distribution center, people would be crazy not to take a look at voice.